Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Bolton. My name is Josh Kelly, and I'm the town administrator here. It's been a long time since I've had the opportunity to come on the air down here at CVC and talk to you all directly. As you all know, we've been dealing with a global health crisis. COVID-19 has not only swept through the United States, but much more close to home. It's hit a lot of our families, our community at large, and our state. And it's hit hard. I want to thank you all for your understanding over these past few months, as not only the town, but the state and the federal government have worked to try and figure out how it is that we can address this health crisis in a way that is going to not just help prevent the spread of the virus, but that's going to effectively save lives and make sure that our residents right here in Bolton on the local level stay safe, stay healthy, stay strong. You've all been troopers throughout this entire process, and I really can't thank you enough for your continued patience, for continuing to work alongside the town government to make sure that Bolton remains as strong, as healthy, and as vibrant as it always has been. What I want to talk to you today primarily revolves around the operations guide that we have posted to the Town of Bolton's website. And you can find this at bolton.govoffice.com/COVID-19. And on our website, through this guide, we have 24 pages assembled that help to answer each and every question that you might have about local government services, what's currently being offered at this time, and when we project to be reopening certain services to the public. Some of these you have likely heard before, and many of you have probably gone online and already read this guide. For those of you who have yet not had the chance to go on and review the guidance that we've put out, I would like to go through this guide with you all today and make sure that we're all on the same page, that there's a mutual understanding around town of the various guidance that's coming from the state level and from our local health department, and to make sure that you're as informed as possible as you reach out to Town Hall for services so that you can be sure you're getting the best service possible. The COVID guide is very, I believe, well put together, thanks to the help of a lot of members of the town staff. We have put together on the first page contact information and an index for you. That way, if you have questions about a very specific function of the town government, you have an opportunity to flip through and find the information that you need in a very careful and methodical manner. In the event that a question that you have is not answered in this guide, we've also provided for you phone numbers and extensions for specific individuals within Town Hall and email addresses for each of the different departments within Town Hall. I highly recommend that you, if you have questions, if you have a concern that needs to be addressed, please reach out. Our town staff has been working diligently over these past several months, whether it's in the building altogether, or whether it's at home, working remotely, working very, very hard through the trials and the difficulties that arise from having to transition one's entire workplace from Town Hall and our other locations around town to home to continue to deliver you services. I have been thoroughly impressed by our town staff. I hope that they have been able to serve you and the questions that you've had so far, and I hope that you won't hesitate to continue reaching out to them. The third page on the guide begins by talking about Connecticut's partial reopening. Now, as many of you may know, Connecticut has put into place several different phases for their reopening. The first of those took effect on May 20th, and it involves the opening of some restaurants to outdoor seating specifically. It involves the reopening of some office spaces, so long as they're adhering to very set guidelines that have been put forward by the state, along with a few other industries that were impacted by that Phase 1 reopening. Phase 2 reopening begins on June 17th, and there are a number of different guidelines that will be put into effect as we go forward, and there are a number of guidelines to consider that are not yet in effect if you're watching this before June 17th. Right now, as of June 12th, the guidelines are as follows. For social gatherings, and this was made effective as of June 1st, all social and recreational gatherings of more than 10 people indoors and 20 people outdoors are prohibited. For religious gatherings, religious, spiritual, and worship gatherings may include 25% of capacity of the indoor space of said church, synagogue, etc., or a maximum of 100 people, whichever is smaller, and up to 150 people for outdoor gatherings. Face coverings, when in public and 6 feet apart, or 6-foot distance is unavoidable, face coverings are required to be worn. This does not apply for anyone for whom doing so would be contrary to their health because of a medical condition. And guidance on face coverings has been issued to state businesses, and more information about that can be found online. Business operations can be found and will be discussed a little bit more later on in this guide. Safe workplace rules for essential employers have been issued. All of that guidance can be found at ct.gov and the state's specific coronavirus website, which can be found through the state's website. Schools, all in-person classes at K-12 schools have been canceled for the remainder of the 2019-2020 academic year. Schools will continue distance learning until further notice. The governor has recently issued some new guidance on the way in which schools may be able to open this fall, so long as numbers continue to have a downward trend in Connecticut. I'm very hopeful, and I know that many others are, that those numbers will continue to potentially allow for schools to have a level of one-on-one interaction, and you can find more information about that on the school's website. Summer camps will be permitted to open in a modified manner effective June 29th. Guidance on how the camps are expected to operate can be found on the state's website, and I am pleased to tell you that Bolton Summer Camp will be opening in the first week of July. We have been making sure that we will be adhering to all state guidance along the lines of the governor's orders. And my understanding is that there are still some spaces available in Bolton Summer Camp. If you have questions, please contact either Recreation Director Kylene Mike or Program Coordinator Stephanie Crane. Their contact information can be found on the town's website, bolton.govoffice.com. For travelers, any person coming into Connecticut by any mode of transportation should self-quarantine for 14 days. Now, June 17th, as I said, we'll see some general guideline changes. The governor's June 17th guideline covers amusement parks, hotels and lodging, restaurants, museums, zoos, and aquariums, indoor recreation, library, outdoor events, and personal services. If you would like to have more information about the way in which each of those will specifically be allowed to reopen in a modified manner, I recommend that you either go to our website or you go to the state's website, and full guides have been written that will help you understand exactly what safety precautions these businesses will be taking as they reopen, so that you can feel safer and that you can make smart decisions for your own health as you go forward. Also, as of this document's publishing, hair salon and barbershops, offices, outdoor recreation, university research, and retail and malls have been issued their own guidance, and more information about that can be found online. There is a mandatory self-certification process for businesses and nonprofits. If you are somebody who owns a business or a nonprofit in town, please understand that you are not permitted to reopen until that self-certification process has been completed. This is something that the town went through, and actually on behalf of the town, I'm very happy to say that I was able to submit our self-certification for reopening at Town Hall. It's a process that took only 10 minutes, but it very carefully allows and requires individual businesses, nonprofits, and even government organizations like the town of Bolton to understand the guidelines that they are required to follow going forward, and it requires you to give your promise that you will continue to adhere to the governor's guidance as you reopen, and to make sure that you're following all health guidelines. If you are a member of the public, not an owner of a business or a nonprofit, and you would like to know which businesses and nonprofits have gone through that self-certification process because you want to know who's taken that pledge to continue to operate in a safe and healthy manner, you can go online, again, either to the state's website at ct.gov, or you can find a link to that list through the town's website. Now, Bolton has a slightly modified reopening schedule as compared to the state. And we decided to have a phase 1 reopening begin on June 8th for very specific reasons. The state's reopening was set for May 20th, and June 8th put us more than 2 weeks following the state's reopening, which allowed us to monitor the numbers as they changed, the numbers of individuals who are currently hospitalized with COVID-19, the number of individuals in Bolton who have been identified as having had COVID-19, and even the mortality rate across the state as those 2 weeks progressed. And as we approached June 8th, we made the determination that Bolton's numbers are relatively stable compared to other areas around the country, and that we feel comfortable reopening in a modified manner. So Town Hall and the Notch Road Municipal Center have executed a plan where each week we have 1/2 of our staff that will be in the office. This will allow us to more readily address your questions and concerns, to be more readily available by phone, and to be able to execute more of our work in the office instead of having to be at home. The reason that we've split our workforce into 2 different groups is because we want to make sure that if any one member of our town hall staff does become ill, we can make sure that at least half of our staff members have not been in close contact with that individual, and that we will be able to have that second team come in while the first team quarantines and make sure that our services continue to operate in a safe but also continuous manner. So I appreciate all of the kind wishes that many of you have been sending along to town staff, and I hope that you will continue to be patient with us as we work to offer as many services as possible. If you have questions about how you can conduct certain business, please feel free to ask. I will let folks know that we are starting to re-allow individuals to come to Town Hall to sign documents. For example, we have marriage licenses that are being issued. We have pistol permits that are being issued, and some of these documents require in-person signatures. We've developed a way that we will be able to have those signatures be signed outside. Whether rain or shine, we have a canopy available in case of rain, and we have several tables that are already located outside so that town staff can meet at a safe distance and in an outdoor, open-air manner with members of the public in case those needs need to be met. The Senior Center and the library are 2 areas where we've been receiving a lot of feedback from the public. And at this time, I regret to inform you all that we do not have set plans in place to reopen either of the interior of those facilities to the public. The library, we are currently offering an opportunity for books and other materials to be picked up at the curbside. All you have to do is email the library, and you can go online and find that information, or give them a call. And through that service, you will be able to request certain materials. They will be brought outside for you as you approach at a very specific time of day, and you'll have the opportunity to pick up your materials there. Drop-offs are being allowed through the library Dropbox as you see fit. Please, if you are somebody who does come down and feel ill, please quarantine your books for a period of time before you bring them back to that Dropbox as a means of trying to prevent the spread of any residue of the virus that may exist on those materials. The library interior, we are of the opinion right now that it would be very difficult for us to reopen the library in a safe manner. There's only one way in and out, so traffic would be passing each other, and there is an increased risk of transmission as a result of that. But also the library is a very high contact area, and we hope that you'll all understand that we want to make sure that while services are being offered, that there is as little possibility for the spread of this virus. And to that end, we may consider reopening the library at a future date, potentially even as early as July, but at this time we do not have set guidance on when that will reopen. Our senior center is another area of high concern for us. As of right now, the senior center, or the state's guidance, I should say, specifically asks that all individuals over the age of 65 stay home, stay safe, and hopefully to that end, stay healthy. By reopening the senior center, we believe that we would be in contradiction to that state guidance. So we ask that seniors please continue to be patient. Please continue to reach out to each other as virtually as possible. And in the event that you're somebody who needs a little help, needs some guidance from the senior center, and needs to get in touch, please feel free to reach out. Our contact information is online. We have our great senior center staff that's been making calls to residents around town all throughout this pandemic. And you may even be one of those people that's been contacted, perhaps several times, by our senior center to make sure that people are okay in their homes. So if, again, you or a loved one needs more contact, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. As we continue along, we will be sure to give you more guidance on when the senior center and when the library may continue to open. But for the safety of all residents, especially those who are at high risk of getting and being greatly impacted by COVID-19, we do not currently have plans published to that end. Recreation programs and summer camp. I've already discussed summer camp to an extent with you. Recreation programs will also begin to crop up over the months of June and July. You'll start to see more information about that online. You can also sign up to get direct emails from the recreation department on our website. To that end, we also have several parks around town. Most of you know that our parks and state parks have never fully closed during this pandemic. So we have, first and foremost, the Hop River Trail, which is a state park, as well as Bolton Notch State Park that have remained open and will remain open. And Gay City State Park also is open, while predominantly in Hebron, it is right on our border. Inland water and swimming areas have been closed by the state. And to that end, as we've considered the reopening of Indian Notch Park, we don't feel that Indian Notch Park at this time is large enough to conform with the governor's current guidance. The Board of Selectmen acted at the beginning of June to keep Indian Notch Park closed to all drive-in visitors and to all swimmers. Walk-in accessibility is still possible. We do ask that you please be respectful as you consider where to park. There are a number of areas where we've designated that parking will not be allowed on the street side by Indian Notch Park. And we want to remind everybody in the clearest possible terms that swimming is not permitted by any means, that lifeguards are not on duty, and that we ask that everybody who takes the opportunity to go down to Indian Notch Park and go for a walk, please keep it clean. Please make sure that you are all adhering to social distance guidelines, and please make sure that you're keeping the park in a state, a very attractive state for everybody else. If you carry it in, please carry it on out. Herrick Park, the lodge at Herrick Park remains closed at this time to rentals. All of our fields do remain open in case you wish to make use of them. We have closed the playscape at both Herrick Park and Bolton Center School, and that is on the advice of our local health district. In the event that we receive any new information from our local health district, you'll be the first to know. The transfer station will be opening this Saturday for the first time in quite a while, as many of you know. It will be open from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on the morning of June 13th, 20th, and 27th. New procedures have been put in place that will allow for a contactless experience at the transfer station for staff members and the public alike. We have very specific guidelines and procedures that have been posted online about how you can purchase a ticket for the transfer station in a socially distanced manner. And actually, you now have the opportunity to buy that ticket right online. So we're very excited to have that opportunity. Even without the pandemic, that's something that we've been striving to do, is offer more of these services online to you so that you don't have to make a separate trip down to town hall. And overall, we're very hopeful that you'll all be kind and considerate to the town staff that is going to be working at the transfer station this week. Please know that they are doing their hardest to make sure that they are staying safe, that you're staying safe, and that all of your needs are met there at the transfer station. In the event that you see long lines developing towards the end of the transfer station opening in a given week, please know, again, the transfer station will be open June 13th, 20th, and 27th, and that you will have more opportunities to come down to the transfer station. In case some of you haven't been made aware, new applicants for the elderly homeowner benefits who missed the May 15th deadline will need to request an extension of filing from the Office of Policy and Management by August 15th. The request must indicate that the extension is needed due to COVID-19 related issues, and it must be sent to patrick.j.sullivan@ct.gov. And if you need to read that information more specifically, you can look at the Assessor's Office page on our latest COVID-19 operations guide on our website, found on page 7. Buildings and grounds, we've discussed many of the different facilities around town, so I won't belabor that point, despite my going through this guide in order. But please know that, again, all of our parks remain open to some extent or another. And please know that Bolton Public Schools, the facilities, as well as many of all of the indoor facilities around town, remain closed to the public at this time. If you have questions, please feel free to contact me at townadmin@boltonct.org. As I said, the Board of Education has closed schools for the rest of the year, and that's by order of the governor. We will be holding on Monday, June 15th, a special ceremony for the graduates of Bolton High School, and information about how to connect to that graduation ceremony can be found online. And I believe a recording of that online graduation ceremony will be made available and will be available for you to find both on the Board of Education's website, and I'll be sure to make it available on the town's website as well. The Health Department right now has been working diligently. That's the Eastern Highlands Health District, which is a larger health district that the town of Bolton belongs to, working diligently throughout the COVID-19 pandemic to make sure that accurate information is getting out to the public about how you can best stay safe, stay socially distant, and stay strong. In the event that you have any questions about current guidance, aside from the several points that I was able to make earlier throughout this episode, I hope that you will not hesitate to reach out to the health district. They have many different guides, PDF guides, Word documents, etc., that you can open so that you can learn more about how to keep yourself safe, how to care for somebody who comes down with COVID-19 in your home, and how you can best avoid person-to-person contact over the next several months. I would like to tell you all at this time that our Bolton Volunteer Fire Department, as well as our local state trooper, a resident state trooper, they have been truly tremendous throughout these happenings around the state and locally. We have not missed a beat. All of these departments, not just our emergency management departments, but all of our departments around town have really risen to the challenge of being able to deliver the services that they are required to give and that the residents around town truly need. There's a very nice letter from both Chief Bruce Dixon from the fire department, as well as from Troopers Brian Contenta and Dave Pila, that can be found in this guide in case you have any questions about the way in which our volunteer fire department and our state trooper's office is currently being run. In the event that you have questions about development, about land use, questions for the fire marshal's office, please know that starting this week, we do have at least one individual who appears in the office, who will be in the office to answer any questions that you may have. So you can give us a call and we will be very prompt in our response and be able to pick up our phone. We are open at this point in time at Town Hall during relatively normal operating hours. Those hours on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday are from 8:30 a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m., on Tuesday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m., and from 8:30 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. on Fridays. If you have any questions about operating hours as they change or progress, please feel free to reach out to me. The Bentley Memorial Library, as some of you know, have also had amended hours so far, and that will remain true until June 15th. Before June 15th, the library has operated from 10 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. Monday through Thursday. Starting June 15th, the hours will go back to normal from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and from 10 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. on Saturdays. Regarding public meetings, please know that public meetings are continuing to happen and that remote access to those meetings has been made available through the Selectman's office. All you need to do in order to access our meetings is to have a phone available or to have a laptop. No matter which way you prefer to connect, that opportunity is made available through the website. If you have any questions on how to connect to our Zoom meetings or how to listen to audio recordings of the meetings that have already passed, please feel free to reach out to me at townadmin@boltonct.org. Our social services office has been doing a tremendous job not only of distributing donations from the food pantry, but taking in donations to our food pantry and to our resident assistance fund. If you're somebody who's in need of food at this point in time, or if you're somebody who's in need of accessing that resident assistance fund, please email our Director of Social Services, Carrie Concatelli, and her contact information can be found within this guide. For those of you who have been fortunate throughout this, have been able to maintain your income, and who are in a giving spirit right now, I really encourage you to reach out to Carrie to ask and inquire as to how you can best contribute and donate. We are having distributions as well as donations being made on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. at the Senior Center on Notch Road. A lot of guidance has come out from the governor's office, and in the scramble to try and absorb all of this information, I want to make sure that one very specific point about tax collection for fiscal year 2021, or tax bills that are traditionally due on July 1st, 2020, is addressed very clearly to you. The Board of Selectmen has elected by the governor's recommendation and by the governor's orders to be involved with the state's tax deferment program. So that will allow residents to defer what would normally be their July 1st local property tax payment by 90 days, which is until as late as October 1st, 2020, without interest. Taxes paid through bank escrow will remain due on time. And again, for more information, please contact taxcollector@boltonct.org. I'm hoping that this is a very helpful piece of relief for those of you who are living in Bolton and who are homeowners. In the event that you are in need and need a little bit more relief, again, we do have our Resident Assistance Fund that's available to the public. Please contact our Director of Social Services, Carrie Concatelli, as soon as you can. Regarding our town clerk and registrars of voters, we have had the presidential preference primary postponed until August 11th, 2020, and I've been working very closely with our registrars of voters to make sure that that procedure is going to be safe, is going to be calm, and is going to be very methodically put together. I would like to let you all know and stress the fact that the polling location for both the 2020 presidential preference primary as well as the 2020 general presidential election has been moved from Town Hall to Bolton Center School. Voting at Bolton Center School will take place within their gymnasium. It's an area where we will be able to have individuals be as socially distanced as possible, and it's an area that I believe will best accommodate the governor's orders at this time. I am very much looking forward to seeing you all at the polls. Last but not least, I would like to tell you all that we have a frequently asked questions section of our guide. at the back of our COVID-19 operations manual that can be found on our website. In the event that you have a question that you really need to have answered quickly, we've put some of our most important pieces of information there in the back so that you can very quickly flip to it, find the info you're looking for, and go forward. In the event that you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me personally. I've given my email address several times, and my phone number is 860-649-8066, and my extension is 6115. That covers the operations guide as it currently stands for the town of Bolton. Please know that this is a living document, that this is being updated on a very regular basis, and as soon as we have more information from the state, we will make sure that that information is passed along to you through this guide, through our website, through our social media channels, and any other way that we possibly can. I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to all of this guidance, for the patience that you've had with the town government, and I hope that you will all take a second, take a deep breath, and really pat yourselves on the back for the great work that you've been doing at staying home, staying safe, and staying strong. Now is not the time to give up on social distancing. More than ever, we need to make sure that there is not a second wave of COVID-19 in Connecticut, and the only way that we're going to be able to make that a possibility is by working together. Thank you all for your time, and I will be talking to you all soon, Bolton. Thank you.